welcome back to Deniese IncTru Podcast, where we shine a light on your truths. Now, today's conversation, it's one I've been looking forward to. It is with our guest, who is a Houston-based playwright, director, actor, and storyteller, whose work reaches into history and it brings forward voices that might otherwise fade. So for me personally, honoring those who have came before us is deeply important. In my own family, we keep our elders, our ancestors, and our matriarchs and patriarchs alive through storytelling and through memory and through teaching the next generation. And that's where they come from. Letting them know where they come from. So through theater, Vincent, he brings pieces of African American history and culture back into the room where people can feel them again. So his plays don't just entertain, they remind us of who we are and where we've been and why those stories still matter today. So Vincent, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us today.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you.
You're very welcome. So I do want to ask, just really dive deep into some questions with you. I've been wanting to get connected with you for quite some time, and I thought it was only fitting to do so, especially around the time for Black History Month and so forth. And I saw what you had going on for your current work that you're doing now. So let's go ahead and start on some things. So first, I wanted to start with the heart behind your work. So a lot of people write, plays, but you've chosen to focus on historical stories and cultural memory. So what first moved you to dedicate your writing to bringing those particular stories back to life?
Sure, most definitely. So first of all, I am a big history buff. I love history, sports history, entertainment history, presidential history. So that's where it began with me. Since I was a little boy, about 7 or 8 years old, I've always been fascinated by politicians and movie stars and singers. So this was really an easy fit for me. That's where it all began. Pete, if you remember me when I was in elementary school, a lot of my friends will tell you that they would always see me carrying around big history books. At 7, 8 years old, I would have history books in my hand, books about movie stars in my hand, and I would bother them, trying to get them to look and be interested as I was in those stories. So that's where the interest began for me.
So it's been there since youth. Like you've always had the heart for it. You've always had a passion for history, kind of like a collector of time. Just even with you having the books, when you're in school, you're like constantly trying to encourage everyone. Hey, look at this. Look at the history. And you wanted them to be just as moved by the history, the historical things that you saw, and was absorbing as well. So it wasn't something that you, done later on in life. This has been going on since you were a child. It's always been a passion for you. Okay.
Oh, for sure. And that's why it comes easy to me, because I did so much research and reading when I was younger. So a lot of this information just comes off the top of my head. Of course, I do have to do to research a little bit more and back up my facts that I remember. Right. But a lot of this information is almost second nature to me.
Yeah. Okay. So you do still do a bit of research, but it's something that you still already naturally have accustomed to, based on things that you've learned over time in youth, and then like as you said, it's second nature to you. So it's really something that's concrete for you. So I did want to go over that a bit more. I know you were mentioning about researching. So when you're researching and preparing to write about someone from history, do you ever feel like you're stepping into a responsibility to represent them, correctly, or almost like you're carrying their voice for a moment?
Most definitely I do. And I try to be as accurate as possible. Of course, with dialogue, I'm not gonna know exactly what they said, but I
Right.
try to get the essence of what they were saying through listening to old interviews, listening to their records, listening to looking at their old movies, looking at television where they were in a show. So I try to get the cadence of their voice, the rhythms of their voice,
Mhm.
and their the message that they were always trying to impart upon their audience.
Okay. All right, so that it kind of, as you were stating that too, like getting the essence of them, seeing how the rhythm, the cadence, and everything. One thing that it popped in my head when I was younger was like watching things about Billie Holiday, and
Hmm.
the first thing I saw about Billie Holiday, which is one of my favorite. Excuse me if I'm overly excited about it, but Billie, watching things about Billie Holiday, learning about her real name and stuff, what she actually experienced, and then being able to see Diana Ross
Hmm.
when she did the movie. Like I loved how like she was also able to like feel that those things, looking at the cadence or listening to her voice and things like that. I like how you put that all into what you do. It's strategically, it's a responsibility that you have in representing them, and you do it so well. And I really thank you for that too, because it's you have that level of history that you're bringing about to others, and trying to make sure that that is continuation of preserving it in such a beautiful way. So for many people, like history, it can feel a little distant or disconnected. But when it's on stage, it does seem that it becomes alive again. So,
Sure.
what do you think? Theater allows people to experience about history that a textbook or a lecture simply can't do.
So what I try to do, because you don't want to bore your audience with a history lecture, so you
Right.
have to make it entertaining as well. So I will put in a song here or a dance when it's appropriate for that particular character, just to make it interesting, because the audience will get bored and you'll put them to sleep. So I always, of course, my responsibility is to educate them, but it's also to entertain as in a theatrical production as well. That is a part of theater. You have to entertain the audience. You know,
Yeah.
you're not taking them to school, exactly to school. So it has to be
Right.
some entertainment value in your work. So I do.
Right.
You will take some dramatic or theatrical license with the work, just so you will make it interesting and entertaining to your audience.
Okay. So it's kind of like, it's with theater, it's kind of like, because I'm not as familiar, but is it kind of like a mixture of Broadway going into with the music? Is that within the same lines, the Broadway and the theater?
Sure, it is musical. Sometimes is exactly musical theater, where you incorporate a song or dance to enhance the story that you are telling. And
Mhm.
also, I don't know if you know, but I do films as well, historical films. That is where I've ventured into in the last 4 or 5 years. So a lot of my stage plays have been translated into films, and particularly my show about Hattie McDaniel. So
Yeah.
my film about Hattie McDaniel is has won awards on the festival circuit this past year. So it's not just plays that I do; I do films as well.
Yes, and that is actually how I came about to finding more information about you too. To having you were stating, you know, it was really passionate to me, especially how like when I saw the previews and everything, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
I have to see this, and I got to know who it is that did this, because I'm just a stickler for researching, and I'm very passionate about like history. I love history. That was one of my favorite things. Aside from art, I love history in school. So I love the way that you're able to make everything flow, not just through theater, but also being able to introduce those things through film too. So with things going on like with production or whatnot, as we were mentioning, I'm familiar that you do have something current that you're working on, your current production. I noticed it has been running since February the 27th, and it'll be going through March the 7th, correct?
That is correct. And it is a show called Athletes. It's about unsung Black African American Black athletes from the past. a lot of the athletes are from pre-1950. So a lot of the athletes you may not have heard of before, but that's why I do these shows, so the audience will know about them, because they were important cultural icons during their time, but through time their histories have gotten lost to the public, and we really don't know about them. So that's why I do these shows about unsung Black heroes, and in this particular show, unsung Black sports heroes.
Okay, and could you give an example to like some of the sports heroes that it may highlight? Not particularly all of them per se, but like some of the main characters
Sure.
that will be presented in the production.
Sure, there was a tennis player. Well, she was more than a tennis player. Her name was Lucy Diggs Slow, and she was an important educator and mentor at Howard University, and she was one of the founders of the AKAs. People don't know that she was also the first African American female to win a major sports title of any kind in 1917, when she won a major tennis title. So that is one of the persons that I talk about in the play. There's also a gentleman by the name of Major Thomas, he's considered the first Black athlete superstar. He was around in the 1890s, and he was a cyclist, and he won all of the major competitions during that time. He was a big star from 1895 until about 1908, and he raced in Madison Square Garden all across Europe. So those are a couple of the people that I wanted to highlight, and I do honor some of the people that people may be more familiar with, like Jesse Owens and Muhammad Ali. But most of the athletes that are talked about in the show, athletes, are quite obscure in today's terms.
Okay, so I like so you kind of mix them both. You'll mix it to like present day, modern day a little bit, and then but majority it's trying to get the audience to get those like either where are they now, the forgotten ones, or the as you stated obscured to what we had not been familiar to. So that's really good that's that you're able to get those things rolled out into production and give us that part of history, so it can be an ongoing preservation to that. So I did want to also ask, so when you when you have the production going and everything is rolled out, when you see the audience, when you watch the audience respond to your work, what moments actually let you know that the story that it's truly landing with them? How do you know or feel that it's landing with them?
When they talk back to the audience, and when they say, "Oh yes, I know that's right," or when they say, "Ooh yes," or they'll say, "Mm-hmm, yeah, that's right, that's right,"
or a little amen in the audience.
That's right. Or when they gasp at something that has been said that touches them profoundly, I know that I am reaching them then. Or when they laugh at a joke that is supposed to be funny, when they laugh at that joke, and so that means that I've done my job, and I know that the joke landed properly and the actors did their job as well. So those are times that I really appreciate, and it fills my heart as a writer.
Okay. So that is definitely that's a good way to be able to see how that it's landing, basically going by their responses, their reactions, hearing what they're saying, seeing that they're able to engage even when like certain moments come up, when they're like if there's a joke or whatnot, or there's something to where they're astonished, you're able to know that the audience is actually grasping it. So, and
also after each of my shows, I do talk back, so it gives the audience an opportunity to talk back to the actors and to me, and we ask them, what are they thinking? What did they see? What did they enjoy? What didn't they like? So I always extend that opportunity to each audience member after my shows. We'll take about 10 to 15 minutes after each show and do a talk back, and it's a very informative talk back. Uh, Last week in particular, a lady, she was raising her hand. I didn't see her, but after everybody we finished, she came up to me and said, "I was trying to get you to see me because I wanted to ask you a question." And the question, well, not, she wanted to give me she wanted to comment on something. She wanted to comment on how I had one of the characters talk about the importance of using your full name, because during slavery time we were only given one name. And but she was saying her mother always stressed, always say you give your full name, give full value to your name. So when she said that to me, I knew that I had connected with her and that I was doing my job, and that was one of the objectives of putting that in the script.
Yeah. Okay. So you do get to have those moments to where not only are you looking at the responses from the audience, hearing the things, but then you actually do engage with them later after the show, kind of have that one-on-one intercession, one-on-one session with them to kind of see how they felt about the show and what they learned from it. So that's really good that you bring that about. You don't hear that as often with things like this. So. Really good. So I did also, well, briefly wanted to go over some information regarding, I would say the additional to the moments as well. So I love to look back for a moment that would be in regards to the plays that you've written before
Okay.
this one. So is there one that stayed with you personally, like long after the curtains had closed, like that really sticks out and stays with you?
Sure. There's a play that I wrote called "The Storm Is Here," and it's about the insurrection of 2021. That was a play, and I focused on the character Ashley Babbitt, who was killed in the insurrection in 2021. So that is a story that stuck with me, and right after the insurrection, I just had to write that story about that lady because she was so fascinating to me. But I
Yeah.
also incorporated some characters that she encountered on her way to the insurrection that was totally opposite of her in political views. So that is the story that has stuck with me. The Storm Is Here, and that was a show that was also chosen to be read at the International Black Theater Festival in 2022. So I'm very proud of that play in particular. Um, so that is one that really sticks out to me.
Thank you. So that one was from 2021, and you said it was also, well, you said it was called The Storm Is Here, right? Storm is Here.
The Storm Is Here. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Very interesting. Now I did want to ask a question. In addition to that, like it kind of stood out for me. So, have you ever done it like with your films, and then with the the theater or whatnot? Have you ever thought about, or have you created books for it as well?
I have not.
Mhm.
I've been focused on the play form and doing it in film. So I haven't thought about a book because I think I'm a better playwright, screenwriter than a novelist. So it really hasn't occurred to me.
Okay. Right. Yeah. I would love to just sit down and read what like things that you have written and just have it in my hands to be able to read that one day. That would be amazing. Yeah.
So and you can also find a couple of my plays are published. Dream Girl Deferred is published. It's about the father story, who was one of the original Supremes. That is one of my plays that is published. And also my play about Booker T. Washington called Mr. Booker T. at the Door. That is published as well. So a couple of my plays you can find in play in play form that you can easily access.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's interesting. So we can get it. We can find it in play form from the things that you have created that are published. Okay. That is interesting. Very interesting. So 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 you have been able to worked as a playwright, as you stated. So you do directing, and I noticed that when I was looking at something, I saw that you do acting too. You also are an actor, right?
I started off as an actor. Acting is really my true love and passion, but I find I can reach more people as a writer and a director than I could as an actor, because when I write, it's just something that I can reach. I can have a broader platform as a writer. So, but I do act. I do act. I was recently in a play that I wrote in December. It was called the 1968 Cherry Cola Pitts Christmas Special, and I
That's what
played
I
the title
saw.
character.
Yeah.
Yes, but I
Wow.
played the title character, and he was a volatile TV personality in 1968 during the height of civil and political unrest in the country. And he was uninhibited though. He would say anything. He didn't care what you said about him or what you said. He was going to tell it like it ti is. So it was not a show for the faint of heart. But
Right.
I do enjoy performing when I do get a chance.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So that's really good. So you're able to go back and forth from being a playwright, a director. You also like to act. As kind of it was one of the things that you started out doing, as you had mentioned. So so when you're building like your production, do
Hmm.
those roles do they influence each other as well? Let's see. So when you build your production,
Hmm.
like being a playwright, a director, an actor, when you're building your production, how do those roles work with each other?
So what I can say is, when I write about a subject, it is a subject that has hit me spiritually, emotionally, it has touched me in some way. If it does not do that, it's hard for me to write about it. So all of the things that I've written about, all the plays that I've written about, I've been inspired by an article or a movie or an incident. Something has to touch me in the right place for me to write about it. A lot of times people will say, "Ooh, why don't you write about this person?" But I tell them it has to hit me the right way, or I can't
Right.
write about it.
So
So
you don't just write it just to be writing it. You write it
no,
because it's something that you felt something when you was reading it. You felt something and hearing about it. It has
I'm
to
connected
come
to it. It connects to me.
right. It
Yes.
has to connect with you.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
For
So
for
that's
example,
good. Mhm.
there's a play, one of my plays called Block Sharif. It was about the first African American girly magazine, and how I came across that. I was reading a book about the 1950s, and in the corner there was a small blurb about this gentleman who started the first African American girly magazine in the late 1950s, and
Mhm.
that fascinated me because I had never heard of that magazine before. So
You said
that's how
I'm
it
sorry.
comes.
You said what was it called again?
The play was called Block Sharif,
Mhm. Okay.
and it was inspired by the magazine called Duke. It was a gentleman by the name of Dan Burley, and he founded this magazine in 1957, and it only lasted for 6 issues because of the racism during that time. He couldn't get sponsors, so he funded the whole thing himself. But so that's how I get inspired, just by little things from the most unexpected places. I get inspiration from. So that is what influences me.
So that's really broad too. So to be able to just from something, just having a knowledge of that, like for some people they'll see it as something small initially, but then you're able to pick that something like that and be able to heighten it into something that can become theater. It can become a film. It can
Yes.
become even more. So that's really good that you're able to do that, and with a level of creativity. To be able to broaden those type of things, you have to have a connection to what it is there to be able to
And I want
create
to
it.
say something. You mentioned Diana Ross earlier. If
Yeah.
you don't know, Diana Ross is my favorite entertainer in the world.
Are you serious? She's
Oh,
mine.
really? You know that she is my favorite. Most
I
favorite
love
entertainer in the
her.
world.
Yes, I love Diana Ross. Oh my God, Mahogany.
Mahogany, yes, yes, yes.
Oh yes. All her songs, like when I was younger, like my mom, I would hear her playing those songs and stuff. And you want to know something?
Mhm.
Since I was a little girl, literally, I had when I watched that movie, it made me want to become a fashion designer. Since I'm an artist,
Uh-huh.
natural artist. When I said I was trying to, like, I had been sketching things like majority of my childhood, right? And I was trying to find. I really wasn't looking for a direction on where I was going to go with it, but I saw her in Mahogany one day, and I'm like, because it's that one song that's on there. Do you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's all I'm talking about. It had me bawling. I was crying, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to be like her. That's what I want to do with my art when I get older. And I did. I pursued fashion design, went to school for
Wow.
it, seamstress. And you just, well, you
I
probably
see. I
can't
was
see it
looking at
right
it back
now.
there. Yeah, I see you. I see your
Yes,
work.
yes. So I love it, and my life had even with this show right now, my life has been so in depth into the arts, and it all started from watching Diana Ross and Mahogany.
Wow. So
Hmm.
we see we have a definite connection right there.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I'm extremely happy to hear that. So that gives me that lets me know that I'm in the right direction. So
Right,
thank
right,
you
right.
for saying basically that. There are many stories from like African American history. That
Hmm.
never really reached the stage or the public conversation. And like you were telling me, about the individuals that it's a little bit obscure to what we are most accustomed to, or we don't really get to see. So when you choose which stories to tell, which are what tells you this one deserves to be brought forward. So is it more to what you were stating earlier, like you have to have a connection to it as well, or is there anything in addition to that that you choose to?
I would say I definitely have to have a connection to it, and it's also is something that I would want to see if I were a consumer. It was something. Would I want to go see that movie? That's those are kind of things that I like doing. Something that I would want to go see.
Yeah, so it's kind of personable, personal for you too. So it's not just yeah. So it goes with the connection. Then it's kind of like a personal interest too, and you want to
Mhm.
make sure that whatever you even those things to what you're interested in, it would be as if you're putting yourself in the shoes of the consumer. Okay, well, would the consumer like to see this, and does it intertwine with my interests as well? So you use those three combinations to be able to create the story. Basically, for someone in the audience who may be like seeing one of the historical stories for
Mhm.
the first time, what do you hope that they carry with them after they leave the theater? What do you want them to absorb after leaving?
I hope that they could see the humanity in the characters that I depict on stage or on film. That's the main thing. That they can see them as a real person and not a caricature of their public persona. I want them to see the real person behind that persona. So
Yeah.
that's what I want them to see, and I want them to see the essence of that person, which is basically the same thing. So
Yeah.
that's one of my goals as a playwright and a director, for the audience to see the humanity in these people that I write about.
Okay. Okay. So you're wanting them to get the humanity of the particular individual that are the story that's
Hmm.
behind it. So not only seeing it as the character, like, because most of us, I would say, when we come to like theater, things like that, we're more focused on, like you were saying, like the character, but you want it to be more than just the face value of just seeing the character. You wanting them to be able to walk away to be like, man, when I just got through seeing Anne or Mary or something like that, like this is what she went through. I could feel her pain. I could feel
Hmm.
her. You're wanting them to build kind of like a relationship into the individual that was played about, and not just the character itself. So I love that. I love that so much. Now, Let me see. I did want to go over things about like for the younger generation. Like for instance, like with my sons, it's so hard to keep them into watching something sitting still because we're in the age of digital. Everybody's doing
TikTok.
this, right? So
Yeah.
they're more focused on those type of things. So with the younger, with the creatives out now, I did want to ask some things regarding them. So for younger creatives who want to like help preserve the history
Hmm.
through storytelling, or writing, or the arts, what encouragement would you offer them as they begin their own journey? What would you say to them that want to do something similar in trying to preserve history?
I would say to them to not be discouraged, even though people may tell you, you don't want to write about that. People don't want to hear about that. Don't
Right.
don't be discouraged because there are people that are starving for that information, but it's just they don't know where to find it. So I would say first, don't be discouraged about um, people telling you no about doing a historical play or something that has more deeper meaning to it. I would also say, even though you may not have the funds to put on a production that you would like, you may not have $1 million budget, but
Yeah.
you can still do it on a smaller scale. Just put it out there, no matter how big or small. Someone will eventually see it and recognize your work. So I would say don't let funds discourage you at all. If I would do that, I would never have put on a play. Never ever. I would say, oh, I can't do this. I don't have the money to do this. You can't think like that. You always have to say, I'm gonna do it no matter how big or how small. But I am going to get that work out there.
Okay. So that is a good level of encouragement. So basically, it's like what you want them to know is to just do it anyway, because there's someone out there that's wanting to see what you have
Yes.
that will be able to grow from or either find out something new, like with your work. If you would have never had brought out the shows or had that level of interest or just did it anyway, I wouldn't have seen this. More people wouldn't have been able to come to the shows and be able to have those like after engagements with you. You never know what a person walks away with and be able to give that level of preservation of history to someone else. It's kind of like how they used to do a long time ago, where we would do like the word of mouth stories,
Hmm.
telling folk
Hmm.
tales and things like that. It gets that deep. Like if you don't, if there's not someone out there that's willing to tell it, then how will we know? So
And
I definitely love that.
those stories will be lost,
Right,
lost to
right,
history. That is so important, especially during this political climate. It's
right.
important for our stories to get them out there. I think it's even more important to get those stories out there because they're trying to erase them or to
Right.
whitewash them. So it's definitely an important time for a storyteller, for an artist
It
to
is.
get their work out there.
It is. It is. And you make a great point on that too. With so much stuff that's going on right now, we have to even now even stronger to make sure that we have a preservation of our history, being able to get it out there any way possible, and even better to do it through the arts. So I thank you for doing that, for creating that level of having that level of responsibility is actually what it is, to be able to get this out to all generations to make sure that they are able to see it either through the film or through the plays. You're doing it in those ways. So well, I did want to ask: are there any upcoming productions or projects that you're working on next after the audiences, that the audiences should keep an eye out for after this March production? Is there anything else that they should keep an eye out for?
Should directly immediately after the play Athletes, there I'll be working on the first narrative feature about the legendary Lena Horne. So that will be I'll be working on that
Mhm.
in the late spring, early summer. So that continues my dedication to recreating historical moments on stage and on film. So that's my next project. And I also have my previous films that are in the festival circuit right now. The Dichotomy of Hattie McDaniel. It will be going to the Rhode Island Black Film Festival in April. And my film about the rivalry between Prince and Rick James just came back from the Virginia Black Film Festival 2 weeks ago. So,
Okay.
and you can find my couple of my films on Uplift TV on Roku. You can stream those on Roku TV. So that's a little bit, and also of course Athletes, which is the last weekend, March 6th and 7th here in Houston at Houston Media Source. So that's what I'm working on right now, and you can find out information about me and my company at VincentVictoriaPresents.com.
Okay. Okay. So we will definitely be looking out for that, especially for everything that you have going on afterwards, especially the one for Lena Horne. You said that's coming out towards the summer, correct?
Yes, we'll be filming in late spring, early summer, and it will be out in the late summer.
Okay. All right. Late summer. All right. And you did mention about the Rhode Island Festival, and then Film Festival, and then the Virginia Film Festival, Black Film Festival as well. So those your most recent works, those are out at both, right?
Yes, the Virginia Black Film Festival just passed a couple of weeks ago. We were in Williamsburg, Virginia a couple of weeks ago with that. But the Rhode Island Festival is coming April 15th through the 19th in Providence, Rhode Island, where you can see the Dichotomy of Hattie McDaniel.
Okay. All right, I gotta see this. I've been seeing you promo for it a lot, so I'm like, I really want to. I'm going to have to come out there to Houston to see some of these shows. I'm very much interested, sincerely, I am. So we are going to find our way out there pretty soon and support you all the way. I love what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me to talk with you.
You're welcome, Vincent. Thank you. We'll go ahead and let you go. I know you have a lot of work to do. And also wanted to say thank you for spending this time with us today. Like I said, I know you have so much to do with your continuation of doing things for the theater, and also with creating for entertainment. So what you are creating, it is more than entertainment, and it's a way for keeping stories alive. So with keeping that culture visible, and then remembering that people, reminding people that history isn't something that only belongs in the past. It continues through the stories that we tell, the way we choose to remember it, and so forth. So we truly do appreciate you sharing your perspective and your journey with us. And to everyone that is watching or listening, if you have the opportunity to attend one of the Victoria Productions, Vincent Victoria Productions, make sure that you support the work and the experience, because these stories are for yourselves as well. So this has been the Deniese IncTru Podcast, where we shine a light on your truths. As always, be well, in wellness, and in love. Peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.